This is Parisian Beauty, and this is the first card we're going to be making. I wanted a really soft feel, and I love this sentiment. Follow your heart, and it will take you to incredible places. Love it. The designer paper, the Parisian Blossoms designer paper is gorgeous. Yes, Loretta, I'll show you how to do that. If you're watching on my business page, which is where I think you have to be watching from, under the video there's a share button. So I'll go over that with you, Loretta. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, let's get started here. First, I want to show you these dies. So pretty. Okay, we have the Merci and the Amour words dies. This fleur-de-lis that will cut out the stamped image here. And then we have this intricate Eiffel Tower die. And we'll be using that on our second project. And this little swirl that's very delicate, we're using that. And this is an outline of the Eiffel Tower. As you can see, there's a stamp there. And there's this very pretty script here that we're using today. It says, I love you till my heart could burst. All I love and all I want I need is you forever. Without you, dearest dear, I could not see or feel or hear or think or live. It's just really a romantic saying, but I love the look of the script too. And I love the postal mark and the cancellation little swirls there too. Love that. So, oh, Michelle. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Debbie. Hi, Catherine. Okay, so let's get started. I've done some of the big shot work ahead of time just because I didn't know how much time I was going to have. You know, Mia is, my little granddaughter, is 2.5 years old, and she loves running stuff through the big shot. And so it's kind of hard for me to do it if she's in here without her. So I'm just going to get going here. And first of all, let's look at what we're using. Okay, I've got all my pieces cut. And there's an extra piece of something. I think I have all that ready. Okay, so I have a piece of Pool Party, and I originally was going to make it portrait, and I decided to go landscape, but it still opens like this, okay? And so it's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And then I have this print with the luggage and the little cancel the postage mark and some of the blossoms. This is such a very subdued, beautiful print with the petal pink and the Pool Party. It is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. Hey, Charlotte. And so that's going to be over top here. Then I have a piece of petal pink, and this one's cut at, let me double check, and I'll have all these up for you later, but I wanted to tell you 3 1/4 by 4. And that's going to go over top here. And then I have this strip of Whisper White that's 1 inch by 3 1/2 inches. Okay, that's for our sentiment. And then you'll need another piece of scrap of Pool Party to cut that, which I thought I'd already cut it, but I didn't. So I'll be cutting that. Let me go ahead and pull some Pool Party out. So anyway, we went to church this morning and then went out to eat and came back, and I was going to kind of rest a little bit. I was up late last night reading. If I start reading at night and the book is good, it's like I can't put it down. And so anyway, I read a little late last night, and so, but I rested a little bit with Mia, and now I'm ready to go. Excited to be crafting. Okay, so I'm gonna get this out. Make sure I don't have everything. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do some stamping first. Okay, let's take this petal pink, and we've got the little postage, the Gay Paris little Eiffel Tower, and I'm going to use petal pink ink, Thanks, Charlotte. Okay, and then I'm just going to kind of scatter and stamp here. And just scatter it and kind of make my own designer paper, but I love where this tone-on-tone look. I've always loved this, and it just makes a nice accent piece without putting another color. You know, I had thought about just putting the solid piece of cardstock, and it wasn't going to work. It needed more, and this just really worked just right. Now let me take the little swirlies lines, and I'm just going to go over top of each of these and stamp. And the color, Petal Pink, is light enough where you don't have to stamp off. You know, it's not too bold. Love it. It reminds me of Ballet Pink, ballet shoes, which is a peachy pink. Okay, there we go. So there we have that. And now we're going to stamp our, oh, I just got ink on my fingers. We're going to stamp our sentiment right here. And this one I've already mounted. It says, follow your heart, it will take you to incredible places. And I'm going to use some Memento black ink and stamp this over top. So what I did here, oh, I got black on that, so let's flip that over. Okay, so what I do here is I measure the stamp on my grid paper, and that's how I decide how long and how tall to make my piece of Whisper White for my sentiment. Oh, I know. And that's why, Michelle, I don't try not to get my head in the camera. Try not to wear really nice clothes. I had my church clothes on this morning. It was like a really pretty gray shirt. I thought, and it had ruffly sleeves. I thought, if I wear that, I am going to get ink on it. So I didn't take the chance. I got on one of my older jackets, and you know what? No, that'll be fine. On this one, I used Early Espresso, okay? But the black is fine too, okay? So that's why this looks a little different. I had forgotten all about that. I'm too busy jabbering and not paying attention to what I'm doing. Okay, so now I need the Fleur de Lis stamp. I don't guess I mounted that. Hey, Kathy. So let's get this Fleur de Lis. And I'm going to mount this. And then I'm going to ink this up in Pool Party. And I am going to stamp off on this because I don't ever want it to overwhelm the sentiment. Okay, I'm going to stamp off and then stamp. Okay. And over here I'm going to try to do most of it here. There we go. All right, so let me close this up. And I can go ahead and get most of this assembled before I do my die cutting. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and put the swirly die is cute, really pretty. Let's go ahead and put this designer paper on. Okay, this goes over top like that. Okay, and then our stamped piece, accent piece here, I'm just going to eyeball that and center it, and I want about the same, about an inch on each side there. So I'm going to put that on. Lisa. Yeah, I knew it was doing something ahead of time. All right. That's why I like using the liquid glue. Just pull it right off. Okay, this is the ribbon, pink striped organdy ribbon from the annual catalog. And I decided I didn't want to use the metallic edge ribbon here. And this is about 12 inches. And I've tying just a knot here about an inch down from the top. Sometimes when I'm doing lives and I'm talking and I'm thinking ahead rather than what I'm working on, which is super bad. And then I do things like this, like forget a step, but it's okay. I do it all the time. It's like, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, I'm trimming this at an angle. Now I am going to I did put the swirly last, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. Let's try this again. Liquid glue. And let's go ahead and put this over top there. There we go. And now I can take this, the sentiment, and it's going to go right there. I'm centering it, I'm placing it where it won't be underneath the ribbon, the tail of the ribbon that's coming down, okay? So let me just straighten this up so I can try to get this straight. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and put these champagne rhinestones. And I'm using little ones. I finally got my take your pick tool in. Yay. All right. You know what I didn't get though, and I needed it for the Eiffel Tower, and that's the brush attachment for the intricate dies, you know. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so now let's do the swirly. I thought I cut it, but I didn't. Okay, I've lost my pen for my glue. It's probably gonna get, I should just put it, I'm not gonna worry about it right now. Let's go ahead and bring in my die cutting machine. And I've been cutting a lot of the Eiffel Towers, and so I've got lots of bits and pieces. So let me get this. I've just got a scrap piece that I cut off a long piece of the pool party. And I'm going to get the die. The new storage items. Yes. Yes, you mean like the white pieces for the ink pads and that? Yes, that is considered product, and yes, it does. Okay, so let's take, here's a swirly. Let's take that and put it up here. And then I roll it through. I'm usually standing when I do this, or over it, and it's not going to go straight. Okay, let me, I'm going to stand up so I can see. These pads are so old. You can tell by all the etchings in them. Okay. Okay, get this out. Put my swirly back. Look at this. Oh, it's just so delicate. And it's just this one piece here that pops out to discard. Ta-da! Okay, let me move this back out of the way. then I'm going to get my card back. And this little swirly, oh no, there's this little piece too. This little swirly really adds to it. I mean, it's the finishing touch. And I'm going to bring that down a little bit. Just like that. Okay? Makes a difference. Just one little embellishment or die to accent, and it makes all the difference. And it's so simple to do. Okay, let's do this. So you can see I just dabbed a little bit of the ink glue onto the die, and the end of the die is tucked underneath that ribbon. Okay, so there is the first card. Oh, did you hear her, Michelle? Yeah, she's getting excited in there with her dad. She's watching something on the Disney Channel, Elena of Avalor, I think. Okay, so there that is. I haven't done the inside, but I think what I will do is, you know, do a piece of Whisper White and maybe scatter some fleur-de-lis on it, okay? All right, see, that's very simple, but isn't that sweet? I love that feel of that. Okay, so now let me clean my ink, my stamps, and then I'm going to set up for the next, thank you, set up for the next project. So, I'm get my, there we go. The next one I'm going to have to concentrate, not that I have to do some cutting, and I don't want to cut it wrong. So, okay, I don't know which of these stamps I'm going to need. I don't remember off the top of my head. Whenever I get a bundle like this and I open it up to work with it, I usually make 5 to 6 projects with the same bundle. So, like that, you know, I get on a roll with it. And okay, I'll move this aside, and I'm going to get the next card out, if I can find it. Here it is. Now, this card I cased from a fellow demonstrator. I don't even know who it is, but there wasn't a video on it. I just followed the directions that were written, and it's I wouldn't say it's a fancy fold, but it's a fancy cut, you know. See that? And that Eiffel Tower holds it, the top and the bottom together. And then I put that sentiment inside. Thank you, Lynn. Okay, so let's get started with this. Now, the first thing you want to do here is you want to cut your Eiffel Tower, and you need 3 of them to make it sturdy enough to be part of that front card base. So I'm going to do that first. And let's see. So what I do is I've already taken this, run them through the Big Shot, got all the little pieces out, which wasn't hard at all. And I'm going to stack them, glue them and stack them one on top of the other. All right. So let's get going here. So I try to do like on the large areas. I mean, I don't cover the whole thing. It's not necessary. It's going to stick. I'm doing these mainly solid areas. Okay. And I just try to put dots here and there. And then see how it goes. There's a good place to put some in there, and more here. Okay. So let me go ahead and layer this one. Hey, Debbie. All right. So I'm going to put this over top. And then I'll just kind of match it up. And the glue's going to dry clear, so don't fret about that. Just try to match up your Eiffel Towers. Okay, so now let's glue those two to this one. And I put the glue on top, what I call the right side. Not that there's a right and wrong side, but you can tell this was the back from the die cut. And I just stack them up and I put the glue on the front so I can see when I'm placing it. And I'm going to just, I see a little piece here that I can punch out. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside, and then we're going to work on the card base, which is just Whisper White, and it is cut 4 1/4 by 11, just like the previous card. Okay, I'm going to stand that Eiffel Tower up and let it get drying. So 4 1/4 by 11. So I'm going to get my paper trimmer out here. And I'm going to score it at 5 1/2. Okay, and then I'm going to do some cutting. Now there's my 5 1/2 inch score. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut at 2 1/2 inches from that fold or the score line there. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put that score line on 2 1/2 inches. Okay, so there it is there, there it is there. I'm going to go up. Okay. So that score line is on 2 1/2 inches. I can see it right here. Okay, it's lined up. And I'm always scared to do this. Isn't that terrible? It's like, am I cutting it right? Make sure. No, 2 1/4 inches. I knew something didn't look right. 2 1/4 inches from the fold. So that's this one. Oh, I'm glad I double checked it. My husband always says, measure twice, cut once. Always says that, measure twice, cut once. He's right. Okay, there's 2 1/4. I knew that looked too big. Okay, so I'm gonna go for it. Bam. Okay. And I'm gonna fold down on that. Okay. Now, this piece that's left over, you're going to cut that at 1 1/2 inches. So there's 1 1/2. And I'm going to say measure twice, cut once, 1 1/2. And I'm second guessing myself because I almost messed up that first time. Okay, so now we can move the trimmer out of the way. And so we have this, and we're going to, this is going to be the bottom of the card front, like that, okay? So now we have some pieces of black cardstock, basic black, 2 1/4 by 4 1/4, and that's going to completely cover that top. And then 1 1/2 by 4 1/4, that's going to completely cover the bottom. Let's go ahead and put those on. I'm going to get my bone folder and give this a better crease here. Okay, so let's put this over top. And line that up with the top of the card there. Oh, why do I have it? No. There we go. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to cover this. My cuts are off. I cut it a little, like 1/8 of an inch too short, but you want it to cut it the same. I'm just giving myself a little white border on the edge here. There's no telling. I'll blame it on Mia. Okay, so that has a little white border, which is okay because it's white against white there. Okay, so now I'm going to cut my, I've got my designer series paper in it's Parisian Blossoms. Okay, and this is going to go over top of this. Okay, and I'll have all the, it's 2 1/8 by 4. And then this script is going to go over top of the bottom part here. And that is cut at 1 3/8 by 4. Okay, I can't see any comments, so if you're saying something, I don't know if anything's coming through. Okay, let's get that like that. All right. Okay, so what I do now is I just line it up like that, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp before I get that Eiffel Tower on. So I'm using Memento Black. Wait a minute, let me get the ink stamp out first. You're the Joy of My Life is what I'm using. And let's see, do I need this? No. Line that up. Okay, and then I'm going to ink this up. And I'm going to stamp it right here. Okay, then I'm going to take the fleur-de-lis and use Pool Party and stamp over top of that. And I didn't stamp off because the black is bold enough where you can see the sentiment. Then I take that beautiful script verse and I'm going to stamp that up underneath this flap. Okay. So I'm going to line that up on my block. And then hook it up. And I know I'm going to come up under here, close to the top, and stamp. Okay. All right. So now we've got all that done, and so we can put on this in just a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and put the rhinestones on so that once I get it done, I'm not messing with it, and it gives it a good time to dry. So now, what I'll tell you the first time is when you put the glue on the back of this, be sure you just get the top here and what's going to be, it's below this bar line here, okay? That's the highest up you will put the glue. Ask me how I know. I forgot and went down too low and it all stuck on the... Of course it did. All right, so let's use some of these pretty champagne rhinestones. Just scatter them. Okay. Left room for my Eiffel Tower, hopefully. So now you just line this up with the bottom. Okay. And then this is going to go here. Remember about your glue. Okay. And let's go for it. So I'm going to stay up higher than I think I need to. So I'm going to put some up here and across here. And then I'm going to put some down here because I know that'll be on the bottom. And this glue, you know, you do have to let it set a minute, but it is tried and true. I love this multi-purpose liquid glue. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more in here. Okay, let's go for it. I want to make sure the bar, you want to make sure this is lined up at the bottom. I'm going to get the bottom on first. The bar, hold it, and then come on and hold it just a bit. Isn't that a fun idea? I loved it. I thought I've got to figure out how to do that and try it myself. Okay, it's holding pretty good. Yay! Okay, there it is. There's the second card. Let me get the first card in here. And I don't see any comments, so I don't know if y'all are all just quiet. Yeah, I guess you are, or it's just not coming through. Okay, these are made with the Parisian Beauty Bundle and the Parisian Blossoms Specialty Designer Series paper. You will be seeing some more projects on this with this bundle as I've got some videos I'm going to record and be sharing with you. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in for Sunday Crafternoon.